Hi, welcome to Numbers Behind the Headlines, where data tells the real story. You may have seen recent headlines reporting that inflation has cooled, with the latest consumer price index coming in at about 2.7%. That figure is lower than recent inflation readings and came in below many economists' expectations. At the same time, affordability continues to dominate the conversation. Many people say everyday expenses still feel high. So, how can inflation be under 3% while so many households feel like prices are still rising? To explore that question, let's narrow our focus to one area that's been a major pain point: groceries. Before we go any further, let's make sure we understand what inflation actually measures. Inflation is a weighted average of price changes over time. When we talk about inflation at the end of November 2025, we're comparing prices in November 2025 to prices in November 2024. And here's an important distinction: inflation tells us how fast prices are changing, not whether prices are high or low. According to the CPI report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, inflation for groceries, officially called food at home, is about 1.9%. There are two key things to understand about that number. First, a 1.9% inflation rate does not mean grocery prices went down. It means that, on average, grocery prices increased about 1.9% over the past year. A year ago, many consumers were hoping prices would fall, so even a small increase can feel frustrating. Second, that 1.9% figure is a weighted average. Some grocery items may have increased sharply, some may have barely changed, and others may have actually declined. For example, according to the data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, uncooked beef roasts are up more than 20% compared to last year. Coffee prices have also risen significantly, and frozen fish and seafood aren't far behind. If these are the items that you buy regularly, hearing that grocery inflation is only 1.9% might not match your experience at all. But not every category moved in the same way. According to the same CPI data, fruits and vegetables on average has seen very little change. Dairy prices are down overall, and egg prices in particular have fallen sharply over the past year. If your experience has been different, if your grocery bill feels like it's risen much faster than 1.9% from November 2024 to November 2025, I genuinely would love to hear about it. What items have changed the most for you? Feel free to leave a comment below. Now, let's get back to the math. To see how this works mathematically, let's walk through a simple example of a weighted average. Imagine four food categories. Category A accounts for 35% of grocery spending, and its prices rise 10%. Category B accounts for 50% of spending, and its prices fall 2%. Category C accounts for 10% of spending, and its prices rise 1%. And Category D accounts for the remaining 5%, and its prices don't change at all. To find the overall price change, we multiply each category's spending weight by its price change and then add the results. So we calculate 0.35 times 0.10 plus zero point 0.5 times negative 0.02 plus zero point 0.1 times 0.01 plus 0.05 times 0. When we add those together, we get an overall increase of about 2.6%, even though some prices went up a lot and others went down. That's exactly how grocery inflation works in the CPI. Large increases in some items can be offset by stability or declines in others, depending on how much households typically spend on each category. Context matters too. A year ago, for example, egg prices were unusually high due to the bird flu. When prices fall sharply from an elevated level, that decline pulls down the inflation rate, even if prices are still higher than they were several years ago. It's also worth noting that CPI reflects national averages. Individual experiences can vary widely depend on what you buy, where you live, and how your household spends its money. So when we look at inflation numbers, especially for groceries, it's important to understand how many moving parts come together to produce a single percentage. The headline inflation rate tells us how fast prices are changing overall. It does not tell us whether prices feel affordable, and it does not describe every household's experience equally. If you want to better understand mathematical concepts and how they affect us in real world contexts, visit us at simplermath.org. And if you like data driven looks at numbers behind the news, subscribe to Numbers Behind the Headlines. Links to additional discussion ideas, data sources, and real world statistics are included in the description below.